Hey everyone, it is Steven Schleicher, and I want to thank you for downloading the latest episode of Critical Hit. Before we get started, though, if you are someone that has been sitting on the fence about joining our Patreon over at patreon.com/major spoilers, then check this out. During the month of April, that's going on right now, during the month of April, if you go over and sign up for an annual membership, doesn't matter which level that you want to do. Maybe you want to do a silver level membership so you can get new episodes of Critical Hit a week early. If you go and sign up for a yearly membership right now, you will get 16% off. That means instead of paying for a full year, you will only pay for 10 months, but still get 12 months of bonus content for free. That's quite the deal. So, again, if you've been sitting on the fence and you want to support Major Spoilers and everything we do, including keeping Critical Hit going into the far, far future, then point your browser to patreon.com/major spoilers. Check out our yearly membership. Sign up in the month of April. Save 16%. That's the equivalent of 2 months. Thank you so much for your consideration. Thank you so much for your support over the years. And now, here is the latest episode of Critical Hit. It's Drifters time. Welcome to Critical Hit, a Major Spoilers podcast. Thank you so much for downloading and checking us out this week. We are back with another episode of The Drifters with our GM, Kevin. Kevin, thanks for doing all this. You're doing a great job.
Well, I appreciate that, Stephen. I appreciate being on Critical Hit, and I appreciate everything the fans have been saying. Even though I'm not on social media, I do read the Discord and stuff, so it's really nice to see that people are happy with the show.
Excellent.
In any case, last time
on Critical Hit,
there was a barroom brawl with, well, I mean, I guess technically more of a...
It's intentional.
Yeah. Barroom brawl implies that's everybody in the room and, bottles are being broken. This was more of, one of those underground fight pit, consenting adult bear and Vesk matches, where you were able to eventually get Ursa, aka Jasmine, the uplifted bear, to tap out. This was all a part of a cost-saving enterprise to hire Lebo, a shady showbad that Skritic knows and got in contact with in Booster City in order to get in touch with Barakas, the witch weird who runs a traveling black market bazaar, where you have a lead to maybe find something about whatever the meta plot was. I've lost track at this point.
Sure. Can I ask something? And I feel like I'm the one asking this because it's just like very difficult for me to keep track of it. How much money did the Trash Wyverns give us?
They gave you 6,000 total credits.
Okay.
Which was 1,000 each.
Did we then split that to 1K each?
That's up to you. Technically, they gave you 2 3,000 credit booster tube credit cylinders. I was assuming you would split it 1,000 each.
I'd written down 1,000 on my sheet, minus the 5 credits or 10 credits from the exchange fee.
Lebo will charge you, basically a total of 60 credits to turn those credit tubes into more usable money. 1% is not a...
So
also, for those of you with like culture / like knowledge underworld, that is a standard rate. He's not overcharging you. That's just you couldn't get a lower rate on the street.
Okay. All right. So we've got 2. So then everybody then made the choice as to whether to bet or not, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
So I put my 1K in, as did Quentin. Did anybody else put any in?
I did not.
So technically, everybody put in a small amount, which was whatever 1,000 divided by 6 is, like 125 or something like that.
Okay.
Or 166, 167, something like that, in order to cover the collective cost of the 1,000 credit bet that you're all 6 of you are putting on Vangie to pay for
Right.
Lebo's fee.
Okay.
But
so
since
everybody's
she
aware
won,
of that.
Since she won, did we not earn that money back? Or
So yes, so now that it comes time to settle up with the bookie, Hecubino and who was the other person who bet? Was it Quentin?
Quentin?
Yeah, Quentin will each earn 1,000 additional credits, and you'll have enough credits to pay Lebo's fee. And then
Excellent.
otherwise, you don't have to. If your name isn't Quentin or Hecubino, you don't have to worry about the credits on your sheet. And for Quentin and Hecubino, all you have to do is add 1,000. That's not bad.
Okay.
Okay. So essentially, but everybody got 990 from
Correct.
the
Yeah,
okay,
just
okay,
from
okay,
the
okay,
the
okay.
trash favorites.
I don't want to make it any more complicated. So they give us like a credit stick,
A credit tube. It's one of those old models.
that says 1,000.
It says 3,000 on it, actually, in a
So
digital print.
So our winnings
And you-
are still on the same tube?
No, because you're turning those tubes over to Lebo, the Shobhad, handler, who will both get you. First of all, a 3,000 credit tube is not the most useful thing. I mean, the way cred sticks work, you could always like put this in a charging station or whatever you're paying credits for, and it would just deduct credits from there. Like how if you're pumping gas, the meter just goes up. Well, you could just pump credits right off of this thing. The real problem that the trash orphans warned you about is that these credits could be tracked. These are like government credits, and they're stolen. So you using them here could cause problems. But Lebo is evidently willing to take on those problems for you for the low price of 60 total credits, because basically the claim is you send these credits off world. Sure, everybody knows they're stolen, but they still spend like money. It doesn't matter. No one's ever going to find them again.
So with our additional winnings, is that going to be a separate stick or?
Yeah.
Okay.
This place doesn't. Yeah. So you no longer need to worry about those Booster City credit tubes. Lebo's going to handle all of that with one or two of his forehands. And you get on whatever your best credit stick is that can hold 500 credits or something like that. They're happy to inject it. Technically, a lot of your credit sticks don't have a limit. Those are not your best credit sticks because those can just be stolen. Like anonymous credit sticks with no limits, it's like, okay, that's just technically floating cash.
It's like carrying around a blank check.
Yep, exactly. So
Quentin is going to sidle over towards Bob, and a small claw is going to extend with the 1,000 credit stick and hand it to Bob in such a way that it's clear that he's sort of passing it off like sliding money to somebody in a handshake.
You don't want your money?
We are not property.
I'm not property either. I just have to pay off my debt.
You have nothing to be ashamed of. This will help pay your debt.
If you don't want it, I'll take it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're able to do that while I assume Vangie and Hecubino are reliving glory days of the past.
If I may, while Vangie was fighting, I would have liked Hecubino to basically have created a whole fan club for her within the
Screaming Vangianites.
Yeah. So right now I'm basically like trying to keep a line for like autographs orderly. And, obviously passing out, our like front facing fan infosphere pages and, making sure that everybody is like, yep, you got to tune into Drifters, Schmendays at 9.
Abadays.
Yeah.
Then she's like has like got like I don't know like gauze or whatever Amu did to like patch her up immediately after, and is excitedly signing autographs and talking with the fans, but mostly letting Hekubino do the hype manning.
Yeah. Also, if Bangi communicated to Hekubino that like Ursa's a fan,
Oh yeah.
definitely will involve her and her handler in this. Like, get pictures of both of them, like arms over shoulders, like making a fist or whatever.
Like, great match. This one's got promise.
Yeah, it's like definitely putting an angle of like Akaton streets kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, we fight, but in the end we all come from the same like disgusting rust colored gutters, so we got to stick together.
Love it.
Little kayfabe there.
Yep.
Nice. Okay, great. So after you guys celebrate a bit and you're able to get around on the house because of Vangi's roundhouse.
Nice.
So you congregate. Oh, one thing, Vangi, I am gonna say, unless you want to start with a bunch of stamina damage, you'll need to spend a resolve.
That sounds reasonable. I will do so.
We can hand wave exactly how much stamina damage it is, but there's definitely a fair bit.
Sure.
So, so you're back in conference with Lebo, and he's gotten his 1,000 credits, so he's happy. So he takes another drag on his cigar. All right. We can go whenever you are ready. As for the Hardash clan, you can trust the Shobadne. We are an honorable people, including the Hardash. But we do not care about the laws of your governments or pact worlds. Our word is law.
It's cool. We don't really care about those either.
Yeah. Anything we need to keep in mind so as not to be rude?
I will tell you as we approach.
Okay. I was gonna say, I hope if you guys have a secret handshake that you don't need 4 hands for it, because I guess I can get on Vangi's shoulders and we can replicate it.
She like puts up her hands in a way to try to like sync with Hekubino's.
Yeah. We do a really stupid looking, like we do half of a really stupid looking forearm handshake.
Nice.
You guys can have that one for free if you want to start using it.
He kind of rumbles as he gets up, and you realize that, again, 3.5 meters, and that's like over 12 feet tall. It's huge. It's like, I am ready to depart.
All right. Oh, and maybe we should just let Skritic handle this.
Yeah, probably best.
So Skritic, you have had good luck with your relatively gruff and straightforward demeanor with Lebo before, because he seems to react to that well. So in any case, he's waiting for you guys to direct him to whatever ship so that he can accompany you and give directions to Baracus's Bazaar.
Yes, I'll lead the way.
All right. So you guys go back to the place where you rented the parking spot from that little shrimp person. I think they're called a Bolita, that you spoke with earlier. And you he argues that you haven't paid everything that was due, and you guys get into a little squabble about it, and you can settle that squabble for 5 credits or have a whole scene about it.
I'll pitch in 5 credits.
He gives the 5 credits to his tiny shrimp young, who go and spend it on little candies.
Aw.
They'll rot their chitin with that. Okay, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
So are we transporting? I lost his name.
Lebo? Yeah, Lebo
he's not-
is prepared to both give you directions, but he does say that he'll need to make the introduction both to Baracus and presumably, as he has certainly implied, the Shobad. So, by the way, the collective, the Shobad in a plural is Shobadne. That's why I've been saying that. So the Hardash clan, which he has implied are the guards of Baracus. Lebo will make the introductions for them. So
What's the clan name?
Hardash, Hardash. Okay. So you guys climb aboard the Squeaky Clean.
Yep.
Grace welcomes you all and welcomes your guest, who is relatively taciturn, with just a and Grace gathers that it is all business, and you guys are off. So with Lebo's directions, you can fly. You're heading south towards the equator, which is also towards the Adayo Rift, and he's giving you directions to an otherwise completely anonymous junkyard. Like, yeah, there's a junkyard there, but like there are hundreds, if not thousands, of those across Akaton.
Okay.
Lebo leans forward to Bob as he gives the directions. Baracus moves the location of the bazaar every few weeks. This way, the smugglers pretend not to operate openly, and the officials pretend not to notice.
Smart choice.
Do not take actions that force those parties to acknowledge reality. It is less lucrative for both of them, and they will not take kindly to that.
All right, so fly low under the radar. Bob flies low under the radar.
Cool. All right, so sure enough, you guys can set down. There's just a massive junkyard here. It's filled with vehicles and starships and all sorts of random other parts. And you can see that there's actually there's a couple different areas you could try to park the Squeaky Clean. There seems to be a starship parking lot of basically picking your own spot on this sandy, rocky dune, or you can try to be more surreptitious and like hide the ship somewhere and use the sand skink to get closer. Up to you.
Co-captain.
We could probably park it. I mean, I don't know. I'll look at actually our guide. What do you think? I mean, do you think it'll be safe for us to park?
Yeah, I think it'd probably be better that way. Probably more accessible if we have to get out in a hurry.
That's true.
Sounds good.
All right. So you guys start to land, and Hecubino,
Mm-hmm.
you feel it coming a moment before it actually happens this time. Then you're pinged again.
Okay. Can I get any information off of it?
Well, so here's how it feels. It feels like someone replaced your tongue with an electric eel, and now it's biting down on your brainstem.
That seems very unpleasant.
Yes. So you're trying to gain information out of this?
Yes.
Well, why don't you give me a mysticism check?
17.
Okay. So again, you can tell sort of some of the same things that you could tell before, except that you're clearly under psychic assault. Except it seems both how to put this? It's both local and far away at the same time. Like you feel like you're being hit by something powerful and global that's like pinning you down.
Like, like maybe other people could be affected by this. Like this is like some sort of like global effect.
No, it's definitely hitting you specifically, and like to the extent that other people feel it, it's only because they're near you.
Okay.
So immediately afterwards, you have a horrible headache, and several of your sensory organs, specifically your eyes, ears, and especially your tongue, all feel hypersensitive.
Okay. And this is like as we arrive.
Yep, as you're landing.
Okay. So yeah, as we're landing, like Hecubino does a thing where like he like wiggles his arms around and goes like blah, 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 blah.
Are you okay?
I don't know, something's attacking me. Also, why do you have to be so loud?
I didn't
Attacking
know.
you how?
Sorry about that.
I don't know. Something's targeting me, and this is the second time they've hit me with some sort of psychic sniper shot.
Could be
And
Kalos?
This seems out of Talos's weight class, but I am concerned that it's his parents. You know, because we just left them hanging. So let me make a phone call.
Okay, as you pull up the infosphere call to check in with Beth and Sven, you find a surprise, like a notification on there that you hadn't checked yet because you've been busy. That they've actually paid their bill that they owed you in full.
Oh.
So you haven't missed any calls or anything like that. They're not. They don't respond to your infosphere signal right now.
Sure. Okay.
So you don't reach them. But it seems like while you've been off and about, they've paid you.
Okay. How much did we end up getting?
You got a total of 9,000 credits, which is odd because you only asked for 6,000 credits.
I want to say that like 9,000 wasn't like we tried to start high on that. Okay. So
I think you start. So she offered 5. You guys said 6, and she was like, "All right." And then you guys are like, "Crap."
Yeah,
Could have
that
gotten
sounds right.
All right. I'm gonna write these down. Unless this is evenly divisible by 6.
It is neatly evenly divisible by 6. Everyone could get 1,500 credits.
Okay. Basically,
turns out this game you're only going to receive credits in numbers divisible by 6.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. So Hecubino goes into probably near the cockpit where we tend to take these calls, and then like without saying anything, you all get a ding on your like infosphere thing, and like there's a money transfer.
Hey, whoa, where'd this come from?
Talos' parents just paid us.
I'm 1/10 of the way there.
But we didn't finish the job.
I was gonna say, do we got confirmation that Talos is good?
Yeah. Can I like scan the infosphere for any like news about I don't know, Talos or Drifters or any other news that's going on Akaton right now, just to make sure there isn't like I don't know something we're missing.
There's no contemplative related headlines. So neither Talos nor his parents seem to be in the, like you can do searches for them and you can find weird, like, unfortunately, Talos is the name of a million things, so
Sure.
it's a little tricky. You can eventually find him in Team Brainpower, but you know,
Yeah, no news about
for
them being like disqualified or something.
Yeah.
no,
So
and for Talos's parents, for like Beth and them, all you find are like ultra obscure, high end research papers.
yeah, my guess is there's this thing that rich people do that when they like run out of patience or they get annoyed, they just throw money at the problem. So my guess is we tried to negotiate a different contract with them. They were like, oh, whatever. And then they just paid us.
Well, I like that idea better than like, I don't know, getting suspicious because no one ever pays on time and higher than the ask price unless something awful's happening.
Yeah. See, that's the thing is like when at least half of your business is in the up and up, which I think Talos' parents are, you can just pay people, right? You don't need leg breakers because you don't need to like let people know that they're not supposed to blah 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 with your money, right?
No.
It's like so much easier when you're just rich.
Yeah, that does.
That's
sound
gonna be
easy.
us someday.
It will be, but we got to figure out who's making your ears bleed until then.
Oh yeah, and I'll like wipe my ears. Yeah. Well, I'm out of ideas. I'll just try to concentrate and see if there's any like residual trail that I can follow or think at.
No, the good news part of it is, except for like the physical side effects that last for a few minutes, it's an instantaneous effect, magically speaking. Like even those effects are just you like kind of recuperating from the instant of pain.
Right. Yeah, nope, I don't know. I'm gonna have to I probably need to actually talk to someone else who's psychic, but I can't read the Taloses. And actually, do they have a last name?
You've never asked.
Okay. I can't reach the Taloses, and Talos himself would be the only other psychic that I've had any like significant contact with. And I don't think I should just ask random Kasathas on the street. Got a Kasathas psychic?
Yep.
Lashuntas are.
So.
Yeah, so I'll say Lashuntas instead.
Yeah,
I guess
well, maybe we
next
could talk to
time-
Rain when we
Yeah.
see her next.
Yeah, next time we see Rain, I'll ask her. So let me apologize in advance if I, flip out or barf on you during the next few hours.
And we're
I don't know.
And you're certain it's psychic energy?
I mean, that's what it feels like. The thing is, once you get outside of that area of like picking something up with your hand and like throwing it at someone, or maybe generating a blaster bolt with a battery, it all gets really theoretical. So the sorts of things that I can generate with psychic energy, other people can potentially generate by, just like being like really into a god. So again, it's, it kind of works both ways from what I understand. Like I have ease with certain abilities because I'm psychic, but that doesn't mean that other people can't get those same abilities. And it also works the other way around. Like if my psychic powers grew to a certain point, I'd be able to like, I don't know, make plants grow and stuff like that. I don't know that I want to do that, but still, it's a possibility.
Okay. Is there any chance?
Unless Kevin doesn't think that's the case, in which case just like erase everything I just said.
No, that's totally legit. Everything you just said is fine. Though there is a kind of an underlying sense that's like, but you're pretty sure it's psychic.
Okay, yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's psychic in origin.
Did it feel like a narrow target or a widespread?
it definitely felt like a targeted attack, and it was definitely aimed at me. I don't think I got that by accident, and it's got to be pretty powerful because it's actually, at least for me, it's very difficult for me to affect things that aren't within view. So it's got to be coming from a pretty strong brain.
Okay.
Does it seem to be a deliberate attack?
Yeah. How long ago was the last one? Like a day?
Mm-hmm. About.
Yeah. The last one I got happened yesterday. That was also the first one I got.
Is this one
So
stronger
no
or
chance it couldn't be some sort of fouled attempt at communication?
I mean, it could be, but I can't really suss it out on account of it being delivered as pain.
was this
Is there any
stronger
time
or weaker than the last one?
Kevin, did it feel about the same or?
About the same.
Yeah, it's about the same. It felt different, but you know.
Wait,
Is
was
there
that
any time
at
correlation between the
Muckrakers
attacks?
or during the when we were at the hideout?
Yeah, the first one came when we were down in the tunnels at Muckrakers, but before we put Operation 5 Rats or I guess technically 6 because Critic was there, into motion. So it didn't. I don't think that was anything that Spago or Muckrakers was doing. And I think this pretty much says that it wasn't Talos' parents either.
Well,
So
do you
I
think they're
mean,
trying
all
to get
of the
information from you? Because, like, I thought Spago was, I mean, clearly a shady guy, but didn't seem like he was going to attack us. And then suddenly he was like, now you're all mine.
I mean, it could be. I don't know. It doesn't feel like that was the case. I think that it's like it happened before any of that, and then we're pretty sure we heard Spago get at least beaten up. So I don't think it was him.
Well, hopefully we can talk to someone psychic soon who can help you out with that. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. You know how it is. It's like you've got one foot in some other kind of realm, and like now you have to deal with that realm, right? It's like being a criminal or being whatever Amu is. Yeah.
If you're
It's
aware
like-
that the previous attacks have come, could you prepare for the next and attempt to find information about the attacker?
I suppose I could try and do that.
Would it be a two-way connection?
I don't know. It's actually hard to engage in like actual two-way things, but I guess at the very least I can try and put up some sort of preparation. That way, at least I'll maybe be able to tell more from it.
Can you create the equivalent of a macro that would trigger immediately upon the next psychic attack?
I don't know. More likely, I probably just have to keep some part of my brain working on it. But I don't know. This is all theoretical. I've never done this before, so I'd have to figure out a way to do it. And we're busy right now, so I'll just on my own try to figure out how to do this.
Anything I can do, let me know.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
The same applies.
Thanks, guys.
We are
so
here.
Let's go.
Yeah, Kevin, I'm gonna try and figure out if there is a way that I can like maybe like just kind of be a little bit more on my guard psychically than usual.
Okay, that's totally fair.
A psychic subroutine.
I mean, you're the type of psychic who has a pretty good mastery of your own mind. You don't engage. There's some psychics who are the ultimate extroverts, and their powers come from their ability to influence people, and that's it.
Right.
Then there are other psychics, like possibly Talos, who are just consider themselves brilliant, and their intellect carries them the whole way.
Mm-hmm.
You strike something of like a middle path where you're able to like understand yourself and understand the world, and like know your limits, but also push them. So more so than most, I think you'd be prepared for such a thing. You've also basically hardened your mind against psychic attacks to some extent by virtue of your feat, Iron Will. So
yeah, and not only that, but given my connection, these guys are causing me pain, so they're literally speaking my language.
Yep. Cool. So I will keep that in mind for the next time.
Okay.
Critical hit.
All right. So you guys head in off the Squeaky Clean. You've landed. You can disembark. Grace says, "I'll go ahead and keep the lights on for you."
Also, turn on the security.
Oh yeah. That's yep. And you guys head into the junkyard.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So you walk through the scattered remains of hulking construction equipment and rusted frames of older model energy cycles, and even some blasted police cruisers. As you proceed, you notice a few things. There are several hardy cacti and shrubs growing in the cracks and crevices, sometimes breaking down the junk that's lying around. So it just shows that even here in this kind of blighted wasteland, life is blooming. As you walk, you notice there are some small crawling creatures, maybe about the size of your hand, covered in barbs and spikes. To a casual observer, it's unclear whether these are 8-legged lizards, like tiny spiky basilisks, or they're some sort of arthropod, like a scorpion. Amu, after a moment of studying them, you can quickly determine that these are mammon scorpions, an invasive species that are so named due to their devil-like barbs and their propensity to collect odd trinkets and trophies of their kills in their subterranean lairs, despite their minimal intelligence.
Vengi kind of like keeps her hands behind her back to like trying to avoid being stung, but just like leans in close to like get a look at one of these guys.
So they kind of prickle up at you, and it's you think you see their head, and then you realize that their head isn't even where you think it is. It's a false head. They've literally a false head. And they're just covered in spikes and barbs, and probably are venomous.
Huh. These things are awesome.
We should collect some.
Yeah. But like only one. I don't want to invest in the ship.
You could probably grab one with your little catcher pole. Write down one mammon scorpion, Amu. Woo! You put it in a box. Now you have a scorpion in a box. All right. So as you proceed, you think you're heading the right direction, and Lebo's guiding you, so presumably he knows where he's going. Somewhere, someone is jamming to some light electronica tunes, backed up by a smooth, steady drumming and some sort of higher-pitched string instrument. Every so often, the music changes, but they're less songs than like a jam session. And you can spot a couple of old speakers that are rebroadcasting the sound along the path you guys are walking down, even though the speakers give it a little bit of a tinny sound at times. You walk a little further, and you smell the smoke of cooked meat and spices, along with a tinge of illicit intoxicants in the air. And you pass by a Yosoki selling meat sticks, and the sign says, "What meat? Don't ask."
Sweet. I'm definitely buying a meat stick.
Right? And then there's another Bolita, the shrimp centipede people, the same as the guy you docked with at Booster City, using a pair of pans simultaneously to fry up some of those scorpions you saw just a moment ago. And there's a light buzz of electricity in the air as you walk towards the bazaar. And there's a neon sign stretched out over the entrance that says "Barakas the Bootleggers Boundless Bazaar." And as you pass under that, there's a clearing that's been set up in the middle of the junkyard, and there are a few large tan canvas tents. One tent is set up with a conveyor belt inside that moves in a serpentine winding pattern. And on the belt are all sorts of mechanical components that steadily move past all the standing shoppers. There are valves and motors, tanks for holding various gases and liquids, gears, wheels, bearings, fasteners, and all sorts of similar things. In an adjacent tent, there are dozens of transparent plastic bins filled with smaller or more fragile components like circuit boards, various crystals, machine belts, wires, nuts, bolts, screws, seals, all that good stuff. Various people are picking through the bins using a personal shopping bin or trolley, depending on the bulk of the items they've picked out. Several other stands have tents dedicated to specific types of items, including a full tent dedicated to each of light armors, heavy armors, small arms, long arms, and melee weapons. And then there are over a dozen smaller stands and shops, some with tents, others simply propping their wares up against a junk cube, battered old vehicle, or some industrial waste cylinders. Some have canvas tarps to protect the patrons and vendors from the omnipresent red dust, while others have propped up sheets of corrugated metal that's rusty, as everything is around here. There's a vendor with all sorts of injection gear, along with what looks like a really extensive locked spice cabinet behind her. Amu, you're pretty sure those are various medicinals and drugs. There are a few Yosoki hawking bootlegged infosphere shows in mini data pads the size of cred sticks. There's an android seeming to haggle with a Reptoid merchant over the price of some software packages that spoof ship comm signatures. A cornucopia of Osharu, think slugs that stand upright and wear clothes, are in a tent filled with misters and water coolers, along with a couple of others of species that don't handle the dry, thin atmosphere of Akaton that well. You pass by a tent with a Kasatha that's sitting cross-legged in a tent with hanging crystals and wind chimes, tapestries and rugs designed in meticulous mandalas that catch the eye and almost immediately entrance you as the Kasatha slips a mouthpiece of a hookah under their veil and slowly exhales a shimmering smoke that plays off the items in the shop in a hypnotizing ways. So anyone with life science, you recognize that's transdimensional pesh, a narcotic that makes one dangerously brave as you only see paths of reality that work in your favor. It's made from a hardy cactus that grows on Akaton, though reality-shaping magic or technology is also required. And anyone trained in culture will know that small-time operators on Akaton sometimes blow themselves and their labs up, or worse, transport themselves to who knows where in the multiverse. Throughout the market, there are also several imposing heavily armed Shobadne, many of whom are wearing an orange and purple sash and are keeping an eye on shoppers. In the weapons tents, there's always at least one Shobad standing guard in addition to the vendor.
This place is awesome.
If you like this place, you should see some of the malls on my planet.
Wait, what planet are you from?
You know, the robot planet.
Oh.
Roboticus Prime.
Roboticus Prime.
So, who are you supposed to talk to, and can I also shop?
Agreed.
I think we should finish our introductions and get what we get first, and then we could probably do some shopping.
Yeah. So as I'll go ahead and take my GM prerogative here and say that we're going to resolve shopping between games, but that you do have the opportunity to shop here, which is well worth it in Starfinder because you really want to get items of you can't be too many levels behind on your specifically your weapon and armor, but also it's just a good idea to when you have credits, spend them.
Well, not all of them.
All of them.
No.
Yeah, just stay in debt.
Oh.
No, I can't.
Otherwise, the credits are going to magically disappear. That's what happens.
Live fast, get scrapped.
We don't
I
wanna be
believe
scrapped.
the planet that Steven was looking for is Avalon.
That is the one.
Is that like Mercury?
Let's see. Yes, it's the one that's right after the sun, which is a city that you can go to in Starfinder.
Sure.
The sun is?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
course it
visit the
is.
sun.
The city
It's
of
much
Brass.
like Newark, I believe.
Barakas will gesture and says, "You may shop if you wish. If you wish to speak with Barakas, follow me."
We'll follow.
In the center of the clearing, there's a grav train car that has been refurbished and positioned in a place of prominence. One side is evidently completely sealed, while the other has several brightly colored triangles of cloth stretched out past it to make kind of a scattered awning. These are called shade sails, and they're all shades of yellow, orange, red, or purple. There are a few more Shobad guards here, as well as a few electronic braziers radiating a comforting heat, because Akaton can get a little cold sometimes. You notice a trio of excited Shirin leaving the train car. One of them, the center one, is holding a data pad, while the other two cram in their heads and thoraxes together to peer at whatever data the pad shows. Seeing you approach, they guard their pad jealously and move out of your path. You continue forward to the grab train car.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Lebo speaks to some of the Shobad in languages that you guys don't speak. Makes a couple of complicated hand gestures and handshakes, and they allow him to pass. So the Shobad, I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but they're always these ones are wearing orange and purple sashes. And you enter the train car, and it's clearly a little receiving area for Barakas. Barakas is a cybernetically augmented witchweird. Now, witchweirds, they're also four-armed, but they're much shorter than a Shobad. They stand about 2.5 meters, so 7-8 feet tall, and they weigh in at about 150 kilos. Barakas has four arms, like a Shobad or Kasatha, hairless, gray to purple skin, and glowing solid yellow eyes. He is wearing flowing robes of bright orange and a vibrant fuchsia purple, with accents of several other shades of orange and purple in his attire. One of his forearms has been significantly cybernetically enhanced, seemingly able to conjure up minor holograms and access data records or jack into a nearby computer with just a wave or touch of his hand. He's wearing a sharply pointed conical silk hat that clearly has circuits embedded within it, possibly connecting to his scalp. Greetings, greetings. I am Barakas. Libo has vouched for you. So, welcome, my friends. Have a seat.
I sit.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of like cushions and kind of love seats and comfortable rugs, that sort of thing. What is it that you are looking for? And perhaps Barakas can help you find it.
We are looking for information, and I'll load up some stuff to pass over about a ship that was part of a that belonged to a drifters team. It's a ship called the Curiosity.
Yes, yes. You are looking for a vehicle from a crash 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have come to the right place.
Great.
One being trash is another's treasure, yes? Yes, quite. I'm sure a bargain can be struck. Trade is the lifeblood of civilization, is it not? Yes, yes.
Yes.
Well, tell me, this ship, do you want the whole ship or only parts?
I mean, if there's like a way to find out what happened to it, that's mostly what we're interested in, like why it crashed.
Ah, the onboard computer. Yes, I can give you access to this computer. That will be simple in comparison to extracting the ship.
Oh, well, great.
And for this, I, Barakas, noble patron of this bazaar, ask a lowly price of 5,000 credits.
5,000 credits.
Culturally speaking, that seems high.
Anyone who wants to make various skill checks, just throw them out at me. Like,
is culture the correct one here?
So culture would be one. Sense motive. It depends on what you're trying to gather. So, like, sense motive will give you a read on Barakas personally. Culture might get you a sense of what things cost, especially in like a black market sense. Life science might tell you a bit about witch weirds. So it depends on what you want to know.
Let's go with life science.
Yeah, I'll do a sense motive check on him.
I think I'll try a culture using my once per day roll twice.
Do it. Whew.
Go up to 30.
All right. I see it. Okay. So we'll start with Amu with life science. So witch weirds, incidentally, Starfinder has a good excuse for why there are so many four-armed species. Witch weirds at least claim to be the progenitor species of both Shobads and Kasathas. So, however, witch weirds are known across the galaxy and the planes as famous merchants and hagglers. They love to make a credit wherever they can, but they're certainly not above the fine art of bargaining. So,
if someone were going to haggle, would that be a diplomacy check?
I mean, it depends on how you haggle. But diplomacy is a pretty standard skill for haggling. Yes. You could certainly just, like, if someone wanted to say, I haggle, I want to roll a die, I'd probably ask for a diplomacy check. But if you were doing something clever, then we might roll a different check.
Well, I never do anything clever, so.
So that's Amu and life science. Hecubino, on your sense motive, it seems to you like Barakas is, a friendly, outgoing merchant guy, exactly what he appears to be, or that you haven't pierced his shell.
Yeah.
And then Skritic, from a culture perspective, that's a very high cost. At least 5x what you would expect to pay, if not more.
Say 5 times.
Yeah,
Yep. Can I haggle?
you can try.
Engaging bargaining mode.
What do you ask? 3,000?
Yes,
5,000.
5,000.
5,000.
Okay.
Wouldn't you say 500 would be more appropriate in a situation like this?
500. Oh, you wound me. This is an ignoble insult. Huh. If I could draw insight from such a check, I would only ask that I learn why I have been doomed to suffer these grievous offers. I could barely pay for the heat and the food and the power for such a place at 500 credits.
No, you're right. You're right. How do you feel about 750?
Do you want to make some sort of check?
Yeah, I think diplomacy is what you had said. I'd like to go with that because I'm almost good at that. A 21.
However, your opponent is wily and doesn't seem to be particularly swayed by your arguments, Quentin. He says, if it were but me, I may give you what you seek. After all I wish is that every person that comes to Baracus, the bootleggers, boundless bazaar, acquires whatever they wish. But I have responsibilities. Such is the weight that I, Baracus, bear upon my noble shoulders, and the shoulders of my soldiers. But all of them, we must eat. We must feed our families and pay for the fuel of our ships. No, 750 credits. I am sorry, that is nowhere near sufficient.
No, you're correct. I apologize for insulting you. Obviously, 850 would be more appropriate.
I will not engage in any more of your low-balling efforts. If this is what you have come to beg of me, I am sorry. You must find another purveyor, someone as intrepid, someone as enterprising and adventurous and resourceful as I, Baracus. Good luck. If the best you can offer me is increasing your bid by 100 credits every time I speak with you, I have no more time for this.
All right. Well, how's business at the bazaar nowadays?
Business is good. Business is traffic, and everyone wants something.
Mm.
But
uh-huh.
there is always more to be had. I feel the greatest motivator is, how do you say, FOMO.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. How's your off business? Or sorry, your off-world business?
I have long wished to make Baracus's Bazaar an intergalactic emporium, but then I would have to face the Starfinders and Pact World authorities. Akaton's customs are quite reasonable.
Well, we're in a unique position to raise some awareness of any business that wants to throw in with us. I don't know if you recognize us, but we're actually Team Lizard Brain.
Vengi does like a flex.
Yep.
Quentin sets
Oh!
up the holographic logo.
Oh, I did not recognize you without your advertisements and ship.
That's right.
Yes, yes.
And that's what I'm talking about. As you can see here, and I'll point to a picture of us, like basically, like just like a shot of Bangy, like shooting the vehicle's Gatling gun or whatever. As you can see, we do all kinds of advertising. The ones we have open right now, that I think would be a good deal, are our holographic banners. Anytime we're in the shot, your business is in the shot.
Yeah, Vengi will activate her Sashimoto, which just currently says like your brand here.
Huh?
Interesting. Yes, I could receive the input of many eyeballs from this, and yet it would still be, how does one say, under the radar.
Yeah. These aren't really moderated yet.
Yeah, Drifters is a really great to get to your target demographic of people who don't really care about the law and do care about things getting blown up.
Mhm.
I have quite a few patrons that fall into that category.
And not only that, but the audience of Drifters is rich with posers. And posers love to buy guns, but they don't know what they do or whether they're good or not.
It's true. They are meant to be ripped off.
Yes, they will not know the appropriate pricing of these things. And as I, Baracus, receive a small percentage off of all of the sales in my bazaar, yes, I can see how this would work. Tell me more about this advertising arrangement. And Baracus is willing to, at this point, work with you. If you're willing to put him up on your Sashimonos for, let's say, the rest of the season.
On all four?
How many Sashimonos do you have?
We just have the two of us, I think. I don't know if anyone else on the team has one.
There's a special item called holographic Sashimono. So I think it's just the two of you.
Yeah,
Probably
just the
not.
two of us.
So after some bargaining, and Quentin can chime in and try to make his pitch, he's willing to settle for that. But he doesn't seem to be willing to budge much further.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's fine. You have a so is he settling just for the advertisement?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yep. Quentin, you want to pass him your information? You can get your graphic design guy, or we can do something. Just get us the assets.
Of course.
Quickly flash a mock-up of the Bazaar sign with, spelling Bazaar correctly this time, as apparently they don't. But that's fine.
And Baracus waves his cybernetic hand and sends you a glut of information that's various ways of contacting him. Okay. And you guys have established connections.
Forearms at godcorp.com. I'm sorry, it's a .org. They're just wanting to get the information out there.
So, you say this is the curiosity you wish to find.
Mm-hmm.
Appropriate name, is it not?
Yes.
The irony is palpable.
Very well. Then he gathers a Shobad and starts guiding you guys through some of the junkyard. It's actually not even in the main bazaar proper. It's actually going into the junkyard to find this particular ship.
Okay.
Sneaking in the ship.
So you guys walk through the yard, and you see all of the aforementioned stuff. But as Baracus is guiding you, you quickly grow more distant from everybody else, and it just becomes more of a desolate wasteland with just his handful of Shobad guards and you guys. And you lose some of the smell and music and all of that came from the bazaar, and become a little bit more isolated. And you approach, and Baracus gestures with two of his arms to this vehicle, a land vehicle, Curiosity. So Curiosity resembles a massive grasshopper with enormous struts that probably could have allowed it to jump a great distance. Though, as you imagine that, any of you trained in engineering or life sciences might wince at how much force it would have to generate both to start the leap and absorb at the end of the leap. However, those legs and landing struts have all been flattened, like they did not operate as intended. And you can actually tell there's some structural damage to the ship as a result. There's an open door.
All right. Computer guys first.
Okay.
Do you mean guys who are computers or those who are skilled at computers?
Well,
Bob walks
in
in.
our in our case, they're both the same guys, so go for it.
Quentin hovers behind Bob.
Okay. So inside, so first of all, it's got a relatively spacious interior. It can easily fit all of you. But inside there are some ominous stains on the ceiling and floor. There's a set of fuzzy tetrahedral dice hanging from a clip above the cockpit area. The vehicle has very clearly been stripped for parts, though the central computer is still intact, and there is one operational looking command terminal.
Bob will go over to it and jack in.
Cool. It doesn't turn on because it doesn't have any power.
Can I find a way to remove it from the ship?
Oh no, not easily, not quickly.
Can I repair the power?
The whole power core has been removed. So
do we have anything that would provide short-term power?
Ah, yes, this is something perhaps I should have mentioned. Fortunately, Baracus is always prepared. Shall we make another deal? And a Shabbat comes in, struggling despite their size to carry a massive cylindrical battery cell, taller than Bob and larger in diameter than Quentin. The standard fee for jump charging a vehicle such as this would be 1,000 credits. But since I am so generous and you require only enough power for the computer, I will settle for 800.
1 second. Hey, Bob, how much energy do you need to start up the computer?
Well, it's not so much as starting it up as it's maintaining it. And since we don't know, how much data we need to transfer or what's on this thing, it's kind of unknown. Could be an hour, could be 6 hours.
You're not familiar with this model?
Again, it's not the computer, it's the data.
Okay.
But do I get the sense that that's an overpowered battery?
I mean, it certainly holds plenty of charge. A battery of that charge will provide enough power. It's just a matter of time, as you said.
Yeah.
So if I have like a portable high capacity battery, that's just too small of potatoes.
Person batteries and ship batteries typically are not operating on the same scale. Like think of it as an order of magnitude difference between them.
Sure.
So like, your battery pack would probably be, if you could rig something up, like ships aren't even equipped to get charge off of a battery that small. But if you could rig something up that did so, it would probably be drained in less than a minute.
Yeah, I think that battery is what we have to use.
Then it is fortunate that I, Baracus, have prepared.
It's great that you are prepared. Yes.
So it's who all is in here? Just like Baracus and a couple of Shobads.
Yeah, there's like 4 Shobads.
Okay.
He doesn't go off alone with people he doesn't know, unarmed.
That's
Legit.
good.
Smart.
I'll be like, let me have a look at this.
But time is money, my friend. So you have only a limited amount of time to make your decision.
What he asked for 600?
800.
Yes, for 8. We should offer 6.
I'll be like, yeah, and I'll like look underneath, and I'll be like, I mean, it's a little 800's a little steep. I think we could probably jury rig something, and then we wouldn't even need the battery. But like you said, we're short on time, so how about let's say 200.
Jury rig, you would do such a thing to this fine vehicle. It has fallen on hard times. Yes, we can all see that. But you could blow out the computer panel. Why don't you go ahead and make a bluff check, I'm guessing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hecubina doesn't know nothing about computers. 27.
You might do this, but this would not be good for you. It would not be good for me. It wouldn't be good for no one. I will come down to 600 credits in order to make everyone happy and have no computers explode during the bazaar.
Does that seem like a reasonable amount?
Can we tell him that?
For
How about
the
a culture
the
check
information that we already paid for?
Well, he's clearly adept at getting his nickels and dimes.
Okay, so I'll be like, I mean, listen, this guy, and I'll point at, or I'll motion to Quentin. This guy is basically already a battery, and he's got the latest software for data extraction. So, but again, it's going to take us a while to plug him into all this stuff. So let's call it 300.
I say if we call it, 420, we can have a deal right now, and we need negotiate no further.
Can I run a culture check to see if that seems like a fair
Sure.
option? 22.
It's not. I mean, he has clearly manipulated the circumstances here, but it's not like you're going to get power from anywhere else. So he could charge you double that, and like the trouble is like you could kind of work around it, but so he is gouging you for sure on the price of power, but he's only charging you like 4x what the actual rate is. So like the absolute minimum you would pay for this much power is like 100 credits. That's just what power costs. So,
And
him charging you 400 credits, it's like, how much do you want to work to pay for 300 credits?
Quentin does a sort of a complicated little move that would translate to those who know him as sort of a nod in Hecubino's general direction.
How about we call it 400 and an absolute guarantee that we're going to blow most of our winnings at your bazaar?
It's true. I was eyeing the armor tent.
Mm-hmm.
There were some rifles that I had my eye on.
Very well. Agreed. I will if you are willing to accept credit at the bazaar, I will even cut you the deal of 360 credits.
Done.
All right. Excellent. Wait, how does credit
Divisible
work
by
when you owe
6?
me? That doesn't make any sense. Damn! I have been vested at Bargaining! Ah, but I, Baracus, will always honor my word. 360 credits. Now, Shobad, go and raise the prices on all the goods that these people purchase.
I'll
I'll,
take it out of my cut.
I jest.
I'll begin connecting the battery to the computer.
And now, privacy, yes? Very well, I shall go elsewhere. There are always credits to be made where sapients congregate and trade. Yes, I, Baracus, have coined a new saying. And he goes off, repeating his saying, there are always
So he
credits
doesn't
to be
forget
made
it.
where sapients congregate and trade, with only slight changes to the cadence. And he is mostly talking to himself, though ostensibly talking to the Shobad guard walking with him.
All right, then.
So, Bob, you are able to plug it in?
Yep.
All right. So you have to make some low DC computers checks to get this set up. You have to like reboot various systems. There's probably even some engineering checks involved, but you're not under any time pressure particularly, and there isn't a fight going on around you, so you're able to succeed, no problem.
Okay. So what do you want to? So everything powers up then? Boots up?
Well, the only things that really have power in here are this computer terminal.
Yeah.
This main terminal that's still embedded.
Right.
And it is password protected.
Needs a password, guys.
And there's a prompt that you can, after you fail, it asks you for it. You can request the prompt.
Sure.
And it says the following. I keep 6 honest serving bots. They taught me all I knew. Their names are blank and blank and blank and blank and blank and blank.
The answer is what and why and when and how and where and who.
Did you type that in?
Sure.
Failure. You have 2 remaining. You have 2 remaining answers. Something he seems so close to right, but not quite right. I keep 6 honest serving bots. They taught me all I knew.
What were his answers again?
What and why and when and how and where and who.
Oh, that does seem like a good answer. Unless it's supposed to be like in a different order.
Who, what,
Could-
when, where,
Could
why,
those-
and
could
how?
that have gone in any order? Like, is it like a number of characters, or it's like
The blanks have no limit on characters. So you as you input it and you rattle it off in your head, it's so close to right, and yet like especially with the name of the ship, Curiosity, it feels like it's the right answer, but there does seem to be a problem with it. I mean, the ship didn't accept it, so I keep 6 honest serving bots. They taught me all I knew.
Could be something about the bots. Huh.
their names are
Their
Could it
names
be-
are
Eddie, 3PO, and R2D2?
Could it be which instead of how?
Hmm.
That would give us 6 W's.
It could be. But then again, who knows what sort of alphabet they use in this universe?
True.
That would give
those
us
of you
6 of
with
these.
culture could make culture checks if you're so inclined.
Hey, I got a teeny bit of culture.
If you're not trained, you don't get a check.
I am trained. How dare you, sir? Poorly trained, but trained.
Oh, geez. Holy crap. All right, so Hecubino and Vangi, sorry guys.
Sure.
You don't know.
That's fine.
Skritic, yeah, I mean, your culture check is like, this is a riddle. It's probably meant to rhyme.
That's what a 2 gets me.
Quentin, you feel like you're fairly convinced that your answers are correct and that order is what matters here. You just don't know why you're wrong.
Robinson.
Amu, consider the rhyming scheme. I keep 6 honest serving bots. They taught me all I knew.
So who is last?
Why and when and what and how and where and who.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Bob enters that.
And with that, you succeed. And you gain access to the terminal, and you can pull up. It looks like there are some old, like 3 years old, as are all of the files, video files.
All right, I'll play the most recent one.
So yeah, you guys get a grainy video view of their unfiltered feed from inside Curiosity. There's a bit of static in the audio, but you can make it out well enough. So there are 4 team members to Team Elysium, and as you start the video feed, it automatically pre-appends to the front of the video their introductions. There's Adesha, the Carinta operative. So Carinta are brightly colored moth people that stand about 1 meter tall and have super cool wings. And she's like pinkish purple, and she's holding a sniper rifle, and she floats up and she goes, "Woo! Do you see that? Behind the back, flying headshot at 500 meters. Oh man, we are going to have to send flowers to their family after, though." Then there's Nahir, the Urag mechanic. Urags are quite large. They're electric blue. They have like crystalline snail or crustacean-like bodies, and they have some control over electrical currents. So he introduces himself with a little flying drone, and he says, fellow teammates, I'm sorry to say this, but oh no." Then there's Hale, the human Solarian. He kind of mugs for the camera in the middle of a group shot of bad guys. And he says, "Is it just me?" Holds up his hand, and a little black hole appears above it. It says, "Where things get a bit heavy around here." And you pan out, and a bunch of bad guys all fall to the ground around him. He says, "Let's lighten it up, shall we?" And they all go flying into the air. Then there's Zem. So on the ship's manifest, it says that Zem is an Astrozoan, but no one knows what Astrozoan actually look like because they are shape changers. But Zem appears to be a Hilki female, so like a native human of Akaton. And she throws her hand out and starts manipulating the world around the camera and says, "I've seen into infinite worlds to see all the possible ways this turns out, and you always lose." And after the intros, you cut to the actual video feed from inside Curiosity. And Hale says, "We're falling behind, team. Here, anything you can do for those engines?" It would help if my drone and I could concentrate. We're taking a good deal of fire back here. Adesha, the Carinta, pulls out her sniper rifle and goes to the hatch and says, "On it, big guy. 3, 2, 1, headshot. Yes. Oh, wait, nope, sorry. He's got 2 heads. 1 second." And she's reloading. "Zem, how about that secret weapon of yours? Getting real tired of lugging this science equipment around without knowing what it does." And Zem appears, moving a hovering container about the size of a missile, a little larger than Bob, time is not yet right. It must be just as we leap. Okay, then. Everyone, prepare for the leap. Adesha, cover us. You got it, Hale. No way I'm missing this shot. And then there's another feed you can see, which is Adesha's camera, which has a view outside of Curiosity. The shot she's referring to is the camera shot. The vehicle does the unimaginable and sprouts thin, iridescent wings of a gossamer-like substance that's evidently charged with a good deal of power. And it also goes a long way to explaining the physics of this jump, for those of you who are wondering. Nahir, start the ignition sequence. It's now or never, Zem. Zem replies, very well. And she opens the container to reveal a carbon copy of herself. Literally looks exactly like her, in the same clothes and everything. Maybe it's a clone? Or just a bioshell with no conscious thought, judging by the vacant look in the eyes and its non-responsiveness. The rest of the crew is immediately confused, and a few people ask out, like, what are you doing, Zem? So wait, are there two of you? No. Sadly, this is where I leave you. I could not find a path to our victory, only my survival. She gestures up to Adesha and says, stay with them. A purple haze surrounds the Corinta for just a moment, and then a distant-sounding voice comes from Adesha. Oh, of course, Zem. You know I'll stay with them. Hale gets up from the cockpit area, but just as he does, Zem slaps a nearby panel on the door, and the outside opens, letting in a blast of dusty air. Zem takes a single step outside and disappears into a reality-shaping portal the camera can't quite capture. Immediately after Zem disappears, Curiosity leaps, as you can see from the two camera angles. Nahir says, Hale, Adesha, what does this mean? Where did Zem go? I don't know, but I've got a bad feeling about this. Adesha, what did she do to you? Adesha secures the camera on the hull and floats down and closes the hatch. Oh, just suggested I stay with you. I mean, silly, really. I was going to do that anyways. Hale sighs heavily. No. She told you to stay because you can fly. So there'd be no survivors. Fellow teammates, the wings are drawing in too much power. At this rate, they'll... And from Adesha's camera, you can see the wings surge with current and then rip into a million pieces in the air. To do that, Curiosity is hanging in the air for a moment. Are we broadcasting at least? Nope. Looks like our signal is jammed from the outside. So I guess Rain was right then. Shame we couldn't find out who was responsible. Teammates, at this speed, the impact will liquefy us? Well, no, but break every bone, shell, or plate in our body and rupture various other critical bodily systems. How long do we have? About 5 to 10 seconds? Okay, then. Team Elysium, on me. Smile for the camera, team, and they all gather around Hale and, lean forward towards the camera. If someone in the future finds this, show the... Boom! And the transmission just cuts out immediately.
That's horrifying.
Okay.
Yeah, but what showmanship, though?
True professionals.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of remember these guys, but I would have paid a lot more attention if I knew they had this in them.
What a tragedy. Betrayed by one of their own teammates?
Well, I don't know about that. It's just that one of their own teammates knew that it was coming.
Yeah, but if they could have let the other person escape.
That's true.
That certainly makes good ratings.
They were working for Rain, too. Rain didn't tell us last crew that she had on this mission died horribly.
Bob starts pulling down all the black box data.
Absolutely.
And also any of the... basically try to just grab all the contents off the drive.
Yep. You'll want a higher powered computer like back at like Grace.
Yeah.
To analyze it, but yeah, you can grab all the data.
Okay. I'll begin the transfer. Store it in my memory cortex.
In your pockets.
Well, Bob has an exocortex that is excellent at storing such things.
Yep. So it'll
And cargo
transfer
pants, you can just
at Thunderbolt 22 speed.
And I think with that somewhat ominous note, we will leave the crew of the Squeaky Clean in Baracus's Bazaar in the rusted out hull of a fellow drifters team that met their end here on Akaton a few years past.
Ooh, man. The plot thickens, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in and listening this week. I guess you don't tune in, but you download. Hey, you want to find out what happens next? Head over to patreon.com/major spoilers. Become a silver level patron, and you can listen to next week's episode right now. But for the rest of you, here's hoping all of your dice rolls are critical hits.
This podcast is copyright 2021 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.